right. Happy Sunday. Welcome to my broadcast channel. Again, as always, please go to stopspraying.org. Chemtrails spraying, insecticide sprayings are running rampant globally. Most importantly, Brazil. And obviously in Miami. I broadcast out of Florida. I'm originally from California, but let me zero in again on the political kind of issue going on in the United States. Look, this country is being torn apart. It's going to take a great strength from a united force, not divided, to overturn this. And do your research. Look, if at any time in your life and you're listening to this broadcast, you can dedicate anything to dedicate yourself to doing anything, it would be studying history. Understand what this country was built on, where those people came from, who funded them. Okay, very important. Who funded the American Revolution? Haim Solomon. Who was he? Polish Jewish. A Polish Jew, rather. Okay, Alexander Hamilton, where was he born? British West Indies. Who raised him? Because it wasn't his mother or his father. It was a wealthy Jewish businessman in New York. They understand, some of these people understand what supported them, who supported them, why they wrote what they wrote. Why was there a need to write a U.S. Constitution? Why was there a need to develop a United States? What did the British Crown play into that? Okay, look into London, the city, the financial center. Who controls it? Because it's not the British Crown, it's not the Prime Minister. Okay, look into the Federal Reserve in the United States. Who controls it? Because it's not you and it's not I. Okay, and it's not your congressman, nor is it the president. Look, Congress, per the U.S. Constitution, has the ability to collect taxes, to set new post offices, to declare war. When was the last time Congress declared war? Bush declared war when in Iraq against the will of Congress. Okay, the Constitution is being shredded, completely shredded. And most importantly, to the comment I just made about the Federal Reserve, who has the power to print money? Because it's not the Federal Reserve, it's Congress. But what happened in 1913, if you watched some of my previous broadcasts, what happened in 1913 was Woodrow Wilson went around Congress during a Christmas break to sign into effect what was the Federal Reserve Act, 1913. Guys, you have to start looking at this stuff. It's 2016. The years go by, the decades go by. Our brains get totally washed. Okay, you turn on the tube, you get home, you turn on a sporting event, you watch TV. It's all brainwashing. Okay, these banks control the media. They own the media. Fox, CBS, ABC, NBC, they own those media outlets. Okay, you might say, hey, Rupert Murdoch owns Fox. There's somebody else. It's all the same people. Who owns them? Okay, because Rupert Murdoch reports to somebody. Okay, these are generations of very wealthy monarchies, of very wealthy families, very wealthy banks that are controlling you and I and controlling how you think and how I think. It's the real thing. It's happening. Okay, and one of the ways they do that is they spray a toxic insecticide over your population, like what happened here in Miami Beach, to say they're combating a harmless virus called the Zika virus. It's harmless. Sure, it enters the placenta, into the fetus, it breaks the blood-brain barrier, just like the petroleum-based insecticide does. But what's doing the damage? The microcephaly in the newborns is not being caused by Zika. There's zero science behind that, zero, none. It's the insecticide, the petroleum-based insecticide that's causing the damage. Okay? Stopspraying.org. Check it out. Now, what I want you to look at, I spent a couple years in Mexico. I lived in Yucatan, the Mayans. Look at some of these civilizations. Look at the Mayans. Look at the Aztecs. Okay? Kukulkan was the serpent god of the Mayans. Go to Chichen Itza. It's a pyramid, 4 sides, 91 steps on each side. Add that up, it's 364. It's a calendar. It's almost as exact as the calendar we have today, the Gregorian calendar today at 365. It's a calendar. It's an astrological calendar to understand the universe that they lived in. Okay, same thing, Teotihuacan, the Aztecs, Quetzalcoatl, Kukulcan, synonymous, serpent gods, different civilizations. Go down south in the Americas, go down to the Inca. Amaru was their god, a serpent god. Amaruca was the name of their land. So we're taught in North America that Spanish and English, primarily Portuguese descendants, Europe, Western Europe, South and North, we're taught that Americo Vespucci is the namesake of America. However, if you do some searching, there's a conflict to that the ancient civilizations here, primarily the Inca, Machu Picchu, they called their land Amaruca. So what did these early people that settled this country, what did they know? What knowledge did they know? Are they not sharing with you? Because we know that there are societies that don't share their practices and their teachings with you. I'm not saying they're bad, not saying they're doing bad things. What I'm saying is that if they spray a chemical over your city and over your house, and they're forcing you to breathe in that chemical because they're saying it's for your protection so that you don't get bit with a mosquito carrying a virus that could harm you, and if you're pregnant, that could cause microcephaly in your child, if they're forcing you to consume and be exposed to that insecticide, we've got problems. We've got major problems because as far as I'm concerned, it's chemical warfare. And you're you're taking away my rights as a human being. And you're taking away everybody else's rights that I'm living with as human beings. And that's millions of people in the Miami area. And wherever you live, if it's happening to you, they're doing the same thing to you. All right? So I think that's it for today. I hope some of this stuff makes sense. Guys, don't take sides. Trump, Clinton, they're both puppets. They're both ridiculous buffoons. I'm not saying they're not good people. I'm sure both people are good in their own right. We're all human beings. We're all good. We can all choose good things. We can choose bad things. But what I'm saying is that Trump is not your president. Your president is the Federal Reserve. Your president is the bank that controls the Federal Reserve. Understand that. Research that. Read about that. It's destroying the country that you think you live in. Understand it. The Federal Reserve runs your life. It brainwashes you. It's a monopoly over you. And it wants you to think that you've elected or you've submitted a vote for someone to represent you. And that's why that vote was so close, basically 50-50, and one person gets the majority vote, yet the other person gets the electoral college vote. It's meant to cause chaos because that is how they cash in. That's how they start to control you. Once they've divided you, then they implement measures to control you. And then you have no choice. So understand what is ruining this country as it's ruined other countries in the past. And I'm going to tie it into California. Most Mexicans, if you're listening to this and you're in California and your parents lived in Mexico and you were born in California, it doesn't make a difference. Okay? Most Californians from Mexico have long wanted to secede from the United States. Whether they understand the history of it or not, they've long wanted to secede from the United States, maybe go back to Mexico, maybe be independent. Now, people like me, of what you might call a white person, people like me want to secede from the United States because Trump got in the office. Okay, it's the same thing. So if you go back to, 1845, 1844, the Republic of California, 1842, the California Republic left the Mexican Union. Same with Texas, same with Arizona. These states left the Mexican Union. Why did they leave the Mexican Union? Understand that. Why did they leave the Mexican Union? Because the Mexicans revolted from the Spanish because they were paying their taxes and they're paying their tithings in the church, and all went to the same place, the Vatican. That's why the Mexicans left the Spanish control. And then why did these other northern states, same with Guatemala, same with some of these other states that border the south of Mexico left the Mexican Union. They left the Mexican Union that was in power for 2 years after taking out the Spanish. They left those unions, which was New Spain before it became Mexico. And by the way, Mexico roots to an Aztec empire, the Mexicas, okay, which is spelled with an X, but the Spanish pronounce it J with a H, which isn't even conducive to the way that it's supposed to be pronounced. It's supposed to be pronounced Mexico, okay, if you ask the Aztecs. But that's just what I've learned. I'm not Aztec. These people left that union for financial freedom because all the money was going back to these wealthy families and still going back to the Vatican. Okay, the same garbage is happening today. So if you're in California, you want to secede from the United States, you're only wanting to do what the people 150, 170 years ago wanted to do. It's the same thing. It's the same movement. So understand, your problem is, my problem, our problem is the Federal Reserve. Understand that. Get that. Revolt against it. Get out of it. Change something. And change something meaningful. Make it happen. Have a great Sunday, and have a great start. See you. Bye.